All right, guys, welcome back to another Thursday training. We do these trainings every Thursday. We also have meetings every Wednesday. If you're interested in learning more about the sales process, scripts, role play with like-minded people, just like yourself, trying to get more business, Wednesday meetings at 9 a.m. You can go to join.realclosers.com to get the link for that meeting. So every Wednesday at 9 a.m. There's a lot more stuff in that group, so feel free to browse around, get some of the free content that we have. And we do these trainings in order to help you get more business every Thursday at 12 p.m. Today, the team picked a very interesting topic, right? 200% life model and how that's applicable to real estate. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the 1% rule and how that was applicable to your business and how you can take 1%. And if you look at it as time, if you take 15 minutes a day and you're consistent, over time, you build that consistency enough where you start to see results. And then, of course, you can allocate more than 15 minutes a day. Like, for example, if you have not done cold calling ever, or you feel that it's not going to work for you, start with 15 minutes a day. Do it very consistently. Results may be very small in the beginning, but do it very consistently. Try to get on the phone, try to get that one person, start figuring out what the objections are, what sort of questions sellers are asking, what sort of rejection you're going to get. Do it very consistently for a few weeks, 15 minutes at a time. As you get that routine going, then you can start incrementing it to 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and start to really, really get those results. So that's what the 1% rule is. If you guys want access to that training that we did about 2 weeks ago, just go to our YouTube channel or comment below and we'll send it to you. But today we're going to talk about a little bit something different. And this one is the 200% life model. And really, what is the 200% life model? Basically, it means that you divide your life into an inner world and an outer world, where the outer world are basically the relationships that you're building with people outside of your own self, right? The idea is that with the inner world, you're exploring your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. It's more about understanding your weaknesses, understanding your strengths, and understanding which areas you can grow in. Because whatever you do internally, it is going to affect what you do outside with other people, right? Your outer world, for example, could be the people that you work with, loan officers or the real estate agents. Time and time again, I see comments of agents complaining about other agents and that they're not doing a good job and that only a small percentage of agents are going to continue to stay in the market and continue to get business and continue to do better. And sometimes you have to think about, how does that really affect you, and how can you make it so that it doesn't really affect you, and how can you work from the inside out in order for the inner and the outer world kind of meet, so there's a balance and you're able to get better and better results however you feel inside, right? We talked about feelings and thoughts, but mostly about mindset, right? However you feel about something is going to affect how you behave with people that you're building relationships with. It's going to affect the decisions that you make. For example, if you're not motivated to do something, whatever goals you had the day before, most likely you're not going to accomplish them, right? So one of the things that you want to do is be okay within yourself so that you continue to remember what motivates you so that you can continue to grow in your business. Going back to activities as a real estate agent, for example, if you set goals for yourself to make calls, right? Outbound calls, cold calling, circle prospecting, calling expireds, calling FISBOs. You cannot attach yourself to the outcome. Of course, what we want to do when we get in that mood of making calls, We want to land a few listing appointments. We want to get a few leads that are going to be able to transact over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, because every transaction means we have a paycheck that we can take to the bank. It means that we're able to pay our bills. It means that whether we have kids going through school, kids ask for things all the time, right? So setting up goals for you to make those phone calls and attaching yourself to the results for that session for the day, instead of attaching yourself to the activities that you perform on a day-to-day basis. Make your calls without or regardless of whether you're going to make a listing appointment that day or not, right? Make your calls, be consistent. If you attach yourself to the outcome and for that day you don't get results, what happens the next day? Call calling doesn't work, right? I don't think I want to do this anymore. I got a rejection. Someone, told me to F off, right? So what do you do? What do you do with those things? Do you demotivate yourself from wanting to continue doing it and then find an excuse to say, yeah, this is the reason why I didn't want to do it in the first place? However, that's what the game of cold calling is. You are going to get people to completely and flat out reject you. But if you continue making the right decisions and continue making and setting up those goals and continue doing it time and time again, you will eventually get to the results. And sometimes the better way is if you have the right mindset before you start a session, if you have the way you feel, right? Again, you have the right mindset again before you start making those calls, and telling yourself that no's are just going to get you closer to a yes. Those little things can change the way things work for your business. Getting, you know, down because someone told you that they don't want to sell or they're not interested, or they do tell you to F off, is like, don't get attached to that. Just brush it off and move on to the next call, because you know what? You're only a few seconds in the life of that person who told you no. And that person, as soon as they hang up, they're going to forget about you. What you do next is what makes or breaks the day in your business, right? So being able to strike a balance between the inner world and the outer world, making sure that they correlate together pretty closely, and ensuring that you know what you're doing internally to feel better, whether that means waking up earlier, whether that means working out. A lot of people out there, they say, hey, you got to go to the gym, hour and a half, 2 hours a day between the time that you wake up, and you got to do this and you got to do that. Like in my case, for example, working out to me is taking my kids out to their sports and then playing a little bit, 15, 20, 30 minutes, 2, 3 times a week, plus a few little things here and there. And that's enough to keep me going. Um, Same thing with, setting up your alarm a little earlier. It does take time. Getting things done before everybody wakes up in the house allows me that little time to get ahead in the day. So those are little goals that you can start setting up for yourself. But at the end, it comes back to your mindset, right? At the end of the day, it comes back to, how do you keep motivated? How do you keep going? Yes, you're chasing that paycheck, you're chasing that closing. But when you start to change and shift that mindset from a transaction, mindset into a value driven mindset, where all you want to do is provide value to people that you talk to, changing the way you ask questions. And again, being okay within yourself mentally and growing is what's going to allow you to make better decisions to continue doing what you're doing. So self-awareness and emotional intelligence are the pillars of this model. Okay. And if you guys are interested in learning more about this specific model, you can Google Adam Hergenrother. He's the author of this book that he wrote, and he did really good in business. But he said that when he started to implement this balance in his life, his business just took off, right? And that just a reminder that sometimes we can work 24/7. Sometimes we can just wake up, start working, go to sleep, continue, the next day and continue working, and forget about family, forget about different things out there. Everybody makes sacrifices, right? Sometimes we tend to tell that to ourselves because look, our family or kids are going to make sacrifices so that we are in a better position, 2, 3, 4 years from now. But once you start to realize that if you do have a balance and understand your emotions and what motivates you, and you're able to manage that in order to perform and make better decisions in your business, you're going to see that that balance is what allows you to continue, right? You're not going to get that crashing factor every 2, 3 weeks where you're like completely down, and you're going to continue to perform at your best. So it's very important that you understand what motivates you, what are the things that pushes you and drives you to do better in your business so that you can make better decisions in your business, right? So if you decide to make 100 calls a day and try to aim for at least 2, 3 really meaningful conversations, maybe that 1 hour goal turns into 2 hours because the goal is not time based and it's not for you to just make calls, but is for you to start conversations, right? Depending on the type of lists that you're trying to call, for example, you could have different scripts, different things that you want to apply, right? So that you can come from a value proposition so that you can get more results. So one of the things that you have to understand is that resilience and adaptability are the things that are going to make you continue to evolve in your business. You're going to be able to bounce back from setbacks. Okay. Sometimes you demotivate yourself again because when you're making calls or when you're getting, you pay for a lead service and leads don't work, right? Leads are not working for me. This system, works for agent X, but it just doesn't work for me. Leads don't convert. So having that consistent reminder to yourself is going to continue to set you back, but being able to be resilient and being able to adapt yourself to what's going on in this market, because it's hard right now, right? A lot of agents are not doing even a single transaction in the year, and they're still paying for their dues. They're still paying for systems. They're still paying for things. But you have to keep in mind that there are other agents who are very successful. There's this one guy I've been following for a very long time now. He started to implement a few systems in his business, and in 10 months, I just saw one of his posts today that in 10 months he's been able to get 500 in gross commission income. So how did he do it? Well, if you follow this guy, you're going to see that he's very consistent, very consistent. He cold calls, he trains, and he's on it every single day. Most people that are doing good right now, most people that are doing great right now are people that have added consistency to their business. They've added consistency from the very beginning. They do not attach themselves to the outcome, but they continue to attach themselves to the activities that they have to do every single day that is going to get them to the outcome that they want to get. If you set a goal for yourself, try to make sure that those goals are trackable. You want to make sure that you're meeting daily, weekly, monthly goals in order to reach your full potential. So being able to adapt to the ever-changing market in real estate is one of the best things you can do right now. Do not attach yourself to the outcome. Continue to work on the activities that you have to be working on as an agent. Most of the questions that we get asked all the time is, where do I find a seller? Where do I find a buyer? Especially from newer agents trying to get into the business, and even sometimes from agents who have been in the business. I was talking to an agent the other day, and they wanted to know more about how we could support them at Houster. And the agent had been in business for about 20 years. And over the last year and a half, they were doing no transactions at all. So the question that agent asked is, where do I find deals? So it doesn't matter whether you're new or you've been in the business for 20 plus years. The question's still the same, right? Where do I find deals? And honestly, don't worry about where you're going to find your next deal. Worry more about what are you doing right now? What activities you're doing right now in order to adapt to this market. And if you're doing an activity, make sure you're doing it long enough so that it actually starts to bring you results. If you're cold calling, for example, right? Going back to cold calling works 100%. Okay. But it works if you know a few things. One, you know who to call, right? Easy. There's a lot of lists out there that you can pick up the phone and you get a lot of data. A bunch of apps. Redix is one of them. Mojo is another one. Vulcan 7 is another one. Yes, it costs money, but you need to invest in your business. At the end of the day, you're either going to invest money back into your business or you're going to end up paying it in taxes at the end of the year. And this is something we talked about last week. So find a database that you can start calling. Second, right? You could use your phone or you could use a system, a dialer to speed things up. And of course, third, you have to be very consistent. You cannot just call 10 people a day, every day, and hope to get business. Most of the time where cold calling works is when you're doing it very consistently. Anytime you do anything, you have to be very consistent and you have to do it over time. If you're not doing the activities that you have to be doing over time, you're not going to get those results. Yes, some agents get lucky. They probably pick up the phone the first day and they find a deal. That's not usually the norm, right? So what you have to do is remember, you have to try any activity, any prospecting prospecting activity that you try, give yourself at least 6 months. Give yourself at least 6 months. If you do it consistently for 6 months, and I'm not saying, do it week one, wait, stop, do it 2 times a week, then go back. And then at the end of the 6 months, you get no results. Then you're like, well, it didn't work. I tried it for 6 months. Do it correctly. Whatever activity you're going to do, in this case, cold calling, you have to do it correctly. You have to do it over time, consistent. Give yourself a few hours a day. Prospect for a few hours a day. There's a lot of communities out there that you can be part of. One of them, Real Closers. Go to join.realclosers.com. Every Wednesday, these are the topics that come up. Objection handling, get better at sales. The one thing you don't want to do is get on the phone with someone who could be a potential listing and you just don't know how to talk to them. They throw an objection at you and you just don't know how to get over that objection. If they give you 6, 7, 10 seconds of their time on the phone, it's a good opportunity for you to continue that conversation. If you don't know how to handle that conversation, you need to practice. And that's what we do every Wednesday at 9 a.m. If you're interested, go to join.realclosers.com and get with the community that will help you get better. Adapt to the ever-changing market, right? One of the other things you always have to keep in mind is that you have to find harmony between your work and your personal life, right? Do you have kids? Do you have a significant other? Give yourself time to take a break. It is important that you work, but it's also important that you find balance in your life in order for that work to be productive. There's a certain point in, where the work that you start doing, it just doesn't give you any benefit. So for example, going back to the calling, if you set yourself up for, 2 hours of calling and then you keep getting a bunch of rejections, starts to change your mindset. If you feel like you're not making progress, take a quick break, go out for a walk. If you have a pet, you have a dog, take him out for a walk. If you have children, go pick them up from school, come back and continue your routine of calling. But now you have fresh air. Now you find that mindset and that motivation again to just continue to keep going. So that's basically it for today. If there are any questions, drop them in the video somewhere below. Our videos get recorded, get added to our YouTube channel. If you need help, support, feel free to contact us. If you are in California and you are a real estate agent looking for support, but at the same time, make more money in your commissions, make sure you check us out. Houster, go to joinhouster.com. Make sure you check us out. I'd be more than happy to have a chat with you and see how we can really help. You can make more money with the 100% commission model that we offer and get a lot of support from us. We give you access to a CRM. We give you access to marketing material. We give you access to a lot of different support, tech tools, systems to help you grow your business. So if there are no questions, I think we have a couple people. We have Grace. Thank you so much, Grace, for stopping by. We're gonna be back again next week. These trainings, sometimes we cover topics like this. Sometimes we go into sales, sometimes we go into scripts, and sometimes we bring people over. Last week we had a session or an interview with a tax person, right? I know we just ended tax season, but what can you do right now to get ready for the end of the year, right? What are the things that you need to start doing right now in order to tax season comes and you don't get hit with a huge bill, right? Because as a 1099 employee, you have to allocate money to pay taxes. And of course, if you want to decrease your tax bracket, use some of the money that you're making in a few of your commissions and put that back into your business, right? Put that back into your business. The more money you make, the more taxes you'll pay, the more things you can write off, the less money you're going to be able to report. So there's a lot of write-offs, right? Marketing expenses are a great way to write off your income so that you pay less taxes, but at the same time, it allows you to bring in more results into your business. All right, guys, thank you so much. I think today was more of a shorter training. We're going to try to get people over in as interviews so that we can continue to provide you more and more and more value. All right, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again either Wednesday at 9 a.m. Go to join.realclosers.com or next Thursday, and we'll send you an invite with the link to join us again. All right, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Oh, we have a comment.
Yeah, I was just wondering, or we might be able to find a replay of it.
Uh,
That,
yeah,
that
the
meeting.
Yeah, the replay, we have a Facebook group called Houster. Not a Facebook group. We have a YouTube channel called Houster, and we upload all of our trainings on that channel. So we can send you a link. We'll send you a quick email. Xiomara, if you want to take down her information and just send her a quick email with the link for the replay. It goes
Yeah,
to our
sure.
YouTube channel. So you'll be able to do that. And if we have you in our system, there you go, Grace. Is there
Oh,
a
it's
period?
sorry. Grace.o@me.com.
All right, got it. All right, so yeah, so we'll send you a link, and we usually do. If you go to join.realclosers.com, we also upload the recordings there. The recordings for the Wednesday meeting, which is the role play session, they also get recorded and they also go into that group. That group also has additional content for you. We have memes, we have real estate content that you can start to use to post on your social media platforms, right? Sometimes as agents, we're busy. We don't have time to come up with content. A lot of the content that we produce for our own agents at Houster, a lot of it gets and branded and it gets added to the Real Closers community where you can just go ahead, take it, start posting it. Um, and again, if you join that community, there's a lot of value in there as well. Besides the trainings that we do on Thursdays, you get access to the Wednesday meetings. So feel free to join us. We'd be happy to have you there. And we're continuously adding more and more value in that group so that we can continue to help agents grow their business. Sometimes being around people like a community of people that also want to succeed can motivate you to continue doing things differently. Sometimes we're doing the same thing and it feels like it's not working, but once you see other people doing exactly the same thing you're doing, but maybe they're tweaking things a little bit in order for it to work for them, maybe those are little changes you can start implementing in your business. The Wednesday meetings are basically open for Q&A. We have approximately about, I don't know, a good 10, 20 agents constantly showing up and asking questions. So it's a great place for you to, get answers to just real estate, business, objections, what's going on in the market right now. We know with the settlement coming up in June, July, what's going to happen to our commissions. How do you become a better listing agent? Those are things that we do discuss in that community. So go to join.realclosers.com, sign up, check it out. It's all free content, and we'd be happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. And thank you for stopping by here. We do this every Thursday. So we'll see you again, hopefully next week. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Xiomara, thank you so much for putting this together. And we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto.